Hi and welcome to Real Reviews, where today I'm going to be talking about Echo, the new Marvel Spotlight limited series which is currently doing the rounds on Disney Plus in its 5-episode entirety. So let's dive into it and find out exactly if this show is going to be the saviour of Marvel, which everyone predicted it was going to be. Right, so for those of you who've been living under a rock for the last couple of months, Marvel Spotlight is essentially a new thing the studio is trying in terms of bringing in more adult themes, more adult tone into its projects, and it's supposed to exist as a standalone element away from the franchise and away from the multiverse. So in subsequent months, having followed that announcement, what Marvel have done have then said, actually, we've changed our mind and they're going to start bringing in elements of the films, and it's all going to intertwine once again. So I have to ask the question, what the hell was the point of that? But with Echo, what you get essentially is more Aquila Cox, so you get more Maya Lopez looking stoic, looking stern, kicking ass. You get some backstory, you get some back history. You also get a tremendous lean into the Native American elements of her character, which are excellent. And also you get an incredibly large inclusive element of the ASL, or American Sign Language, which really does make the difference in this show, I think. And for me personally, it definitely brought a more adult, shall we say, approach to it. So for me, that is the main driving force of Echo, and this is what makes it interesting. It's not the story itself, or at least the plot which drives it forward, because that's pretty thin. It is just an excuse to bring Kingpin into it, and Vincent D'Onofrio is incredibly good as he is, as he has been, aside from in Hawkeye, which I thought he was underused. But what you do get is you get something closer to the Daredevil of the Netflix iteration. So you get a darker element there. You get a more bloody, violent element to it, which isn't the important bit, but obviously you've got adult themes. So next I'm going to dive into those bits which really make Echo worthwhile and, from my point of view, make it stand out. So for me, the things that really work with Echo are the Native American characters and how they're woven into the story as a whole. In fact, they give the show more depth through a combination of present day acting and flashbacks in terms of like tribal understanding and delving into Maya's history and the way she interacts through past and present encounters with her ancestors. That is where the beating heart of Echo really lies for me, and this is why it really works. So Marion Dayre, who is the showrunner, has really come through from that perspective. So you've got Chaske Spencer, who plays Henry, her brother, who featured very heavily in The English, opposite Emily Blunt last year, a very good show. And you've also got Tanto Cardinal, who plays Chula, her grandmother, who features in Killers of the Flower Moon, which is obviously the Martin Scorsese film, which won big at the Golden Globes. And also you've got Graham Greene, not the spy author, but the Native American actor who plays Scully, her uncle, and is essentially a fix-it man and creator of weaponry and artillery, essentially. That's what he does. So that for me are the strong elements of Echo. The weak elements are the fact that it takes a great deal of time to get to where it needs to go. There are peripheral characters which don't really get a look in, which is down to the fact they're just underwritten, I think, rather than anything else. And in terms of Maya Lopez and her characterization and the way that Aquila Cox brings it, and she does bring it, I really think as long as they get enough, as long as she gets enough traction and there's enough, shall we say, audience interest, Marvel have got something decent in this series. I do hope that it goes beyond just being a limited series and they do expand on that, and that maybe she turns up in other shows. So that's my take, that's what I think of it. Let's move on to that rating and explain a little bit more exactly what I mean. So some of the written reviews have lent into, shall we say, that lack of substance, and subsequently they've given them quite low scores. For me, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 on the big old 5 scale, because it's not quite average, but it's not quite excellent either, which I think is a fair summation. There, as I've said in the previous bit, the Native American element is really, really good. I think it's well thought out, it's well told, and the performances are very good across the board. But it is underwritten. There are people that are wasted, and to a certain extent, Kingpin, although he's good, and Daredevil, they do feel like token gestures. So I'm moving on. But really, I think Echo, you do need to check it out just so you can have an opinion. Let's jump into that trailer, shall we? And so it is that you've reached the end of the video for Echo, the Marvel Spotlight limited series, which is currently doing the rounds on Disney+. This is also the bit where I go, if you like the video, then give me a thumbs up. If you want to drop a comment in the comment box below, do that, because you know I'll respond. And finally, you can always subscribe so that every Tuesday and every Saturday when I drop another one of these videos, you'll get a little notification and you can drop in and watch or listen to as much or as little as you like and go about your day. Failing now, check out the rest of the channel and check out my Patreon page. Take care.